It's the kickoff to Frank Camp Miami. So, Nick, unicorn franchise brands, Miami conference, we're going to be studying two brands that went from consumer brand to franchise brand to unicorn. Sales, franchisees, validation. And over the next 3 videos for the franchise brands out there as a preview for Frank Camp, what we're going to do is dissect what it means to be a unicorn brand and how to get there. And so, as we start this journey, what's the foundation we need?
Well, at Frank Camp, we're going to have sessions. They're going to be like TED Talks. So we have a bunch of different unicorn brands that are going to share their secrets. So if you're looking for a conference that is going to give you real information that you can take home, this is it. All right. So foundation. You'll make fun of me for this. And that's a line that you say to me. It starts with, do you have a consumer positioning that's easily digestible by business owners?
But Nick, and not being rude, even though, let's take a step back. Let's first, there's a universe out there. Franchisors that
I love this universe.
Yeah, no, franchisors that are struggling.
Yeah.
Franchisors where it feels difficult to get that flywheel spinning. What's the difference between a unicorn franchise brand?
Don't set me up. You're setting me up.
No,
you know what I'm going to say.
No, go for it. No, I'm not setting you up.
There's no capital.
No, wait, Nick. Let's just leave the cap.
See, I told you you were setting me up.
No. I could have all the capital in the world. If my franchisees aren't validating, if we're not hitting our unit economics, if we don't have good consumer positioning, it doesn't really matter.
Yes, it does.
Because I'm going to waste money on marketing and ads.
No. Don't do that. Do not do that.
So then, let me pull this up because I'm going to get you in the right direction, Nick.
Well, the gap that nobody wants to name, I just named it.
No, let's start with this.
Okay.
Because we're promising everyone who watches this, they're going to learn the unicorn test, how to tell if your brand has a machine or just an operation. 2, 4 stages every unicorn brand went through. Local hero, proof of replication, franchisee demand, institutional momentum.
I do love seeing your Instagram videos where you're giving me the bullet points because I can, I don't even have to listen to the sound.
Right.
I can see it. You're so good at bullet point talking.
So then, then put us in reality because no one gives a damn if you're going to say you need capital because understood you need capital, but there's 3 other things you need or else you're going to waste your capital.
That's what I was going for. I mean, look, one is the B2C positioning or your why you, why now. And it's such a simple line. How many brands actually can say this is our why? They can say what we do. They can't say the why. So if you don't have a positioning, you don't have a point of differentiation in the marketplace, you're already playing from behind. 2 is expectation setting, which comes down to unit level performance. If you're using your item 19 to weaponize you're like, this is how great our business is, but the realities don't align to what you're weaponizing your brand with, then what happens is the franchisee comes in on a multi-unit deal, barely gets unit 1 open and stalls out. Stalled out franchisees kill the unicorn. Period. End of story. And so if you don't have the B2C side and you haven't set the right expectations on the franchisee side, I'm not even talking about marketing. Now you have failed franchisees derail the unicorn. And then number 3 comes innovation when it's storming and when it's sunny. And what I mean by that is, do you have a team that's built around really driving home the success of the franchisee? There are too many brands that over-index success on selling franchises and not enough brands that index on the success of the franchisee. Successful franchisees scale. Successful franchisees are worth more to your bottom line. Franchisee that owns 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the unit count is going to pay royalty on each of those locations. And it's one human being that you're interacting with, not 5. And so
Okay.
if I really break that, I'm breaking it down. B2C, you better have a positioning. You better be telling the truth in your numbers. So you're setting expectations properly and have set item 7 to communicate with item 19. And your leadership team needs to be excited and positioned around the success of the franchisee.
Okay, good starting point.
Oh boy.
No. Well, before this call, and Melissa, who's hopefully on the live stream here.
Who's Melissa? I love when you name drop people that nobody knows.
So it doesn't, everyone knows, but we were talking about our own planning at the law firm level in terms of our brand positioning, what we're doing for our clients, and quote unquote marketing. And Melissa is here, right? She is there.
Hey, I'm here.
Um,
Melissa, next time just put Melissa, because there's never a last name on the people he talks about. He's like Joe. Nobody knows who Joe is. I just go by Melissa.
So Nick, so we're talking about a unicorn brand, right? And everyone can see it, right? Other franchisors will look at that brand and say, why aren't I at that level? Why does it feel like I need so much more lift than what they're doing? And there's that intangible that happens. And in fact, at Frank Camp, we're going to have 2 case studies, and we'll talk about that in a second. For the franchisor out there where things are going well, they have a good consumer value proposition, they feel like they should be on the right track, and maybe it's a matter of time. What's the gut check moment? How do you know if you have the potential to become a unicorn brand?
So this is going to be interesting, because when I think of a brand that became unicorn brands, I can think of brands that were stalled out and got unstuck. The way that they got unstuck is by clarity of messaging and positioning, and then insights on spend, and then duplication of spend. And so there's going to be one brand case study that we talk about at Frank Camp that was a sizable brand. There was no question about it, but just not in the United States. And so their positioning, they were not positioned to the general business owner. They were positioned to a very specific one. Paris Spaghetti, yeah. And so when they change the positioning of what is the value proposition of our opportunity to the general franchise buyer, it started transforming things, and they could sell them. Then they were getting them open. They were performing at what expectation were, and they were scaling. And so they were stuck in the United States. They were not stuck globally, but they were stuck in the United States. And part of that, all that work had to be done. What are you going to say?
Well, before I go to the next question, the other brand that will be part of the Frank Camp case study, French Florist, really interesting brand, interesting founder, and extremely motivating. What's your snapshot analysis of that brand in terms of unicorn attributes?
You keep on I like when these aren't like bullshit, like Nick.
It's not bullshit, Nick.
I like when we're actually talking. So this is good. Look, they had a $10 million store. You figure out, like, you operationalize a $10 million store. It is printing money. And then he goes, let's go duplicate it. Now, where his challenge is, and we're going to bring this up, is he doesn't have a sales issue. He can sell all day long. The problem is expectation setting when he's opening up these other ones are not performing at the same level. And then on the conversion, like they over-index into the conversion of existing mom and pop flower shops to say, let's turn you into one of ours. And the performance, they're not going to be a $10 million store tomorrow. And so like that's where that double-edged sword of the numbers in the item 19. So now it's not a sales issue. So now they go sell, they get open, they get the conversions. Now they're going back to the drawing table and say, look, we got supply chain figured out. We can get you the products to get out to the community. We know how to do technology because we can solve the issue through technology to get customers access to flower orders. But now we have to start scaling. And so now he has to engineer what's the cost of customer acquisition, what's the return on an annual basis, how much do we need to spend to get these sales volumes going in a great way? Now, the reality is the margins are so good that if you look at like another thing that goes into unicorn brand is, can you pay off the initial investment in 3 years, we'll call it 4 years or less.
But let me just pause
Before
you
we
there
go there.
because you've given a lot. Wait, because Paris Baguette, French florist, right? It's so easy to look at French florist and see a success right now, right? And I don't know that much about the brand, but now we're looking at it as a potential unicorn moment. And it's okay, you have a founder. A founder took a business that was doing well. You used the term operationalized it. And now is connecting the unit economics there. So if I'm looking at these brands, and again, the potential to become a unicorn, kind of lost where I was going, but I want to get back to it. So if I'm looking at those moments, I'm going to connect dots. You said earlier, and I agree, and we talk about it all the time, franchise sales do not grow franchise systems. Great franchise systems are not built on franchise sales. They're built on unit economics. They are, Nick. They work hand in hand.
Let's just put a caveat on there, because in today's bullshit broker world, there are brands that have sold a crap.
Yeah, but they're not unicorns. I'm not saying they're unicorns. They're not unicorns. Unicorns to me, if we're going to, the attributes, driven founder, innovation in the category, and a team focused on franchisee unit economics and success.
So I'll change the first one because the 2 brands that we put up are not founder driven.
Okay, fine. But again,
it's excited. It's a leadership team that shows up ready to grow.
And when you say ready to grow, they're going to begin with the end in mind, franchisee unit economics, because they understand we're going to sell franchises, but it's the performing franchisees that grow the system. So like, I think one absolute rule to a unicorn brand is strong performance by franchisees, right? Now, if we're going to go to how do we get there? Well, I think one of your unicorn rules should be your primary goal before franchise sales is franchisee unit economics.
1,000,000,000%.
Okay. And then I'm going to use your term, because you look at French florists, because other people look at the business and say, I don't know what to do with it. So they operationalized it, right? So you're operationalizing the business, the franchise model, for the point of unit economics, right? So those are part of the flywheel spinning there. But then let's go back to like an initial threshold issue, because I think everyone pays lip service to it. Everyone talks about it. We all struggle with it, which is the brand positioning, right? Everyone, like we've been at FranCamp conferences, and even founders or leadership teams are like, well, we're just another, we're like other blank in our category. And then we talk about it. People are probably like, are they stupid? Why do they keep talking about brand story? Why do they have these workshops? So many times, no one's even like, I'm like, no one even wants to do our workshops, or we put all this time into these materials. And I know there's gold there. So for the people that care and listen, and want to get to that unicorn brand, what do they need to start doing right now about their positioning?
Well, I'll give an example. I can say this because I talked at depth about this with him last week. There's a Vet's Junk Removal. They were at FranCamp, New Jersey, and he said, I came home with that workbook. I started doing it. And it's transformed our business.
Wow. Okay.
And so what he said is he just never thought of it that way. And when I do my podcast, I always pull up their website. I'm like, hey, let me tell you what's wrong with it. And I typically focus on 2 primary issues that are wrong with websites. One is on the front page, it doesn't give me any reason to want to, like, there's no sense of urgency of why I need to become a franchisee. And the second thing is when you get to the support page, they do so much more than what they actually say. They're like, we support you day and night. It's like, no, let's get into specifics. So if you're going to get to the positioning, I mean, there are workarounds. I could probably take any brand and pop it into one of the AI tools and say, I really need to work on a why you, why now that's going to position my brand in front of the right buyer. I feel like I should try doing this with you. What is the why now for Internicola
Are you going to share that on the
law
screen?
firm? No, I'll just read it.
Okay.
It's I want to build a franchise brand that lasts, grows safely, and becomes a valuable enterprise. Here's how I position it in the mainland Why Now framework. Every successful franchise brand reaches a point where growth creates complexity. What started as a great business becomes a legal, operational, and compliance challenge that can either accelerate your momentum or expose your greatest vulnerabilities. The Internicola law firm helps founders build more than an FDD. They build legal infrastructure that protects your brand, supports franchisees, and creates the foundation for long-term growth. Whether you're launching your first franchise or expanding nationwide, now is the time to ensure your legal strategy is as scalable as your vision, so every new location strengthens your system instead of increasing your risk. The firm focuses exclusively on franchising, representing more than 350 franchise brands nationwide, and emphasizes building legal and compliance infrastructure, not just preparing documents. So what I hear out of it, like great positioning. And so it's giving like I want to build a franchise system that lasts, grows safely, and becomes a valuable enterprise. And I think that's a good way to put it. Now, on your current website, your franchise law that fuels growth, which is what you do, but what it just said was so much bigger. And now I also know that you're good at building this out. You said whether you're preparing your franchise for your franchise to franchise your business, scaling a growth stage franchise brand, or expanding nationally, or leading an established franchise system, our team provides legal compliance. Like there's pieces in there, but it's not as strong as what I just got out of ChatGPT. So I'm saying this as an example. This is me in real time popping it in there and saying what you are and what's your point of differentiation. Franchisors can do the exact same thing.
What I like about that is the valuable stuff that it just gave you about our firm. Those are all transformative attributes that every again, we're talking about legal infrastructure, security of brands, protecting their growth. But franchisor translates that to their franchisee candidates. It's universal, right? It's building that future, creating that legacy, building a business, right? Investment level. What you got back from ChatGPT also reflects a lot of effort on our team in terms of our messaging, but it wasn't for the sake of marketing. It was for the sake of understanding what we're doing in our programs. So if you ask ChatGPT, if you ask whatever AI, if I believe that a Paris Baguette and French Florist are unicorn brands, unicorn franchise brands, what are the attributes that make them one? I'm curious what it says.
I want to read you one other. I don't know if they're watching right now. I'm just going to say it because I can. The garage floor companies come to every Fran camp. I've pushed them to say they still don't have a positioning. That's my opinion. My opinion, the magic of them is very similar to what the vets business that we just talked about is it's built by first responders. It's a former police guy and a former firefighter guy. The two categories are EMT. So I popped it in. ChatGPT gave me an answer, and I said, "But we're not growing. So what would you do to transform this?" I said, "The story I build: don't sell floors, sell becoming the premium garage transformation company in the market. That changes everything. Instead of garage floor company, I position as the home upgrade brand for America's most underutilized room." And so it's interesting how it's positioned that, because it's saying like it said most garage floor brands say we install epoxy floors or own a garage floor coating business. That's a commodity. The buyer immediately thinks so does every local contractor. So it's interesting to see like how the interaction using AI as a source to help start breaking through this, to start saying like, how do we transform the business? And it goes into like what they really need to do, which is interesting because it's advice I've been giving them on transforming their business. I said that their moat. If I were CEO tomorrow, I'd build garage intelligence. Every garage measure, digital estimate, 3D rendering, storage recommendations, maintenance program, floor warranty, portal. Now you're selling technology plus service. So the point of me saying all this is AI can be a support mechanism for helping you get there if you know what questions to ask.
I spoke with a brand today, a franchisor. They'd gone through the typical pathway of working with a development company and learning along the way, right? Having to redo their operations
I love
manual.
watching your facial movements when you're talking about things that there's more you want to say, but you just keep your mouth shut.
There's so much more.
Your eyes like twinkle, like I can see the words. Like you're almost like giving me like code in your eyes and what you're trying to say.
No, I'm calming myself down. But it's interesting because it's a good leadership team, smart people. You could see they're going to succeed. And and like everyone else, they're adjusting. And they said, we're about to, or we want to align these things and wisely, legal and other stuff. And then we're going to start really investing in sales and strategy. And they have some good sales. Nick, for one of the things we put on our email blast that we're going to talk about is why wait and see is the most expensive strategy in franchising. So in their case, wait and see to me would be, let's just run ads or go to broker conferences and marketing with our current positioning, which doesn't have that compelling why you, why now. There's other wait and see moments where a brand feels like, okay, I'm on the right track and I'm doing good enough. It's hard to evaluate as a business owner, right? Because we're all subjective. What are some objective signs that you need to correct course before taking that next step? Things they should be focused on.
You keep doing this to me, but whatever. I'm just going to say it.
If you say capital, I'm ending this live stream. I'm ending the live stream. It's the most useless information. Hey guys, you need money. We all need money to grow a business. We're going to be strategic here.
Strategic with what?
You have all the money in the world.
This is the problem.
No,
you
Nick,
dream of unicorns.
No.
You're dreaming of unicorns. You're like, where are these unicorns?
No.
That's why.
I've seen brands blow significant capital with the wrong strategy. I've seen brands get private equity investments and their franchise advising team blew capital at every chance they could, not intentionally because they didn't know what they were doing. So let's assume capital. We all know we need it. Like, where do we get momentum? And it's not just money.
It's what you just said. It's like, look, you want to sell your first deal. It's going to cost whatever it costs to sell your first deal. So just wait. Don't say anything. There's a mutual client of ours that has great unit performance. They have not transformed their messaging. They have started gently spending on digital advertising. They have done this now for, call it 6 months, but they didn't do the blocking and tackling. They went to step 3. They haven't spent that much. They are getting irritated and frustrated that they're not getting momentum. At the end of the day, unit level performance, good business model in a good category, it's like the drumbeat has to be loud enough to find the right buyer. And so unfortunately, in this franchise universe that we live in, you have these garbage numbers of how much each deal should cost that uses the benchmark, but the number is specific to the brand that is launching. And if you come in undercapitalized and you don't spend the money, I'm not saying waste money, but you have to figure out, like, there is buyers out there. And frankly, in today's world, the competition to get the buyer has changed drastically over the last 24 months because your biggest competitor is not another brand. Your biggest competitor is a franchise broker that is trying to get that candidate and saying, before you buy, let me coach you into the right brand, which behind the scenes is whoever pays them the highest commission. And so you're competing against all these people that are spending money. What does that mean? It's going to cost you more. But if it were me to get comfortable with whatever I'm going to spend from a capital standpoint, take what are you going to get in royalty over the first 3 years on one single unit and use that as a budgeting exercise to say, I got to spend this. If you dip your toe in the water, you're going to get the return. It is the whole theory that all these brands, they want filet mignons on a Wendy's hamburger budget. It's just not how it works. So yes, I'm going to say capital, but the reality is I have a brand in my head right now that could actually succeed if they well capitalized and they did the right things. Better website telling the story through the founder's lens, the point of differentiation in the category that is winnable, and they go spend and market to go get the noise out there to actually get the lift. They could get lift. Which is a unicorn flying, which is a horse flying.
Right. And so it's not capital. It's first, before we even get to a capital conversation, it's the brand positioning. It's the unit economics. It's the franchisee transformation.
Yes,
and I understand you're going to need the capital. I think the bigger issue is not the capital. It's the positioning. And so many brands, like I could think of a number of clients right now where I think they're going to become unicorn brands. They've been in franchising for, say, 4 years or 5. They've been very successful, not at the hyper scale, but very successful. Their leadership team is charismatic, like their brand has purpose, and now they're refining their messaging and their drumbeat. And I know they have that potential transform.
Wait,
and then,
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You have this brand, whatever brand you have in your head right now.
2 of them.
Okay. What is going to derail them from becoming a unicorn brand?
So what would derail them would be a disconnect between the franchisees they onboard right now and their economic expectations.
We're aligned on that.
Okay.
Is that it?
Well, for me, when I'm thinking about these 2 brands, well, there's a couple of things. Priority 1, I don't want to just generically say franchisee unit economics. I want to say alignment as to why the franchisee bought and what the franchise system delivers, right? That can mean different things for different brands. So unit economic alignment and performance, that's 1. 2, adding to the leadership team, right? And it may, and I think in both of those cases, it's going to be more franchisee support level coaching. And 3rd, I agree, there's going to be capital, but I'm not starting the conversation with that. Capital, but 3rd, Nick, it's 3rd.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
This is loaded. It is a loaded question.
All right.
So I just said, what's going to derail them? And you said, in expectations are misaligned. I'm oversimplifying it. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Okay. I say that, and the way that we're reading your business is that the point of differentiation with yours is that you build a franchise brand that lasts, grows safely, and becomes a valuable enterprise. What role of responsibility do you have in your service offering to these 2 brands to say, guys, yes, you have units that perform at X, but if we put that in item 19 and it's going to take 10 years to get there, your franchisees are going to be frustrated. Maybe we have to put a different number in there.
I mean, we don't get involved in the actual numbers, right? As legal counsel, legal structure and things like that. But in our client notes and private, we have standardized notes and information. And along the way, at every turn, we always advise our clients it's better to overestimate on build out than underestimate. It's better that franchisees have lower cost than higher. So we do not push an FDD focused on enhancing numbers for sales. We also, from a legal perspective, are always advising our clients that their data needs to be representative. Inherent in our advice to our clients on the legal end, because we don't get involved on the other side, is it's better to under promise and over deliver as a general rule in franchising. for emerging franchisors.
Okay, so
And it turns out that that's good legal advice. I mean, I saw it was a unique franchise, and I can't naturally say what brand, business, whatever. I won't give too much detail. But naturally, if something goes wrong for the franchisee, and a lot of times it's not even the franchisees, it's the franchisee attorneys, and they write these crazy letters. And one of the, naturally they bring up everything. They brought up the item 19. This item 19 showed almost a $0 gross profit. So I'm like, what are you complaining about that this misaligned expectations when it showed its startup? Like, that was a genuine item 19. It's like, here's what this is.
Was it sold through the broker?
No, it was a personal thing. It was, but the point is the attorneys are always attacking something. So we don't get involved with the actual numbers, but our advice to our clients is it's always better to understate performance than overstate it. Okay, and we do tell them too, Nick, that if they're leaning on those quantitative factors in the FDD, there's something wrong with their system and sales process, and they need a better foundation.
Ultimately, the statement is you can say the line of whatever. You can say under promise, over deliver, but you're not getting involved in it. So you said the reason why these two brands in your head would fail is misaligned expectations. From the franchisor standpoint, who in the ecosystem should be giving them the right advice on how to expectation set? If it's not the lawyer, who is it?
It's the franchisor. It's the leadership. Yeah,
but they don't know.
They do know. I mean, the reality is, and look, Nick, right? This is part of a Fran Camp series. Our clients have access to this, right? It's the reality is I would say the vast majority of franchisors, and certainly the clients we've dealt with, I've never seen a client intentionally want to misrepresent or mislead anyone. I think the overall franchise industry itself, I think they create some misaligned expectations. I happen to think there's really good franchise brokers out there that everyone is willing to pay a commission. They're going to push what they believe in a good way, and some that won't. But I think it's up to the franchisor, and I think this is a big part of becoming a unicorn brand, is own your economic positioning, create transparency, and then take every step to help your franchisees overperform. Because look, if you're a supplemental income business and that's all you promised, or that was all the expectation was, well, then no one is going to be upset they're not replacing their income. And now you have alignment with your franchisees. I think what does happen, though, is, and here's where I will blame franchisors. Sometimes it's that magic beanstalk seed that they're promised, and we'll turn this on, and they get led in the wrong direction, I think. And I think part of then a unicorn journey is saying that quick road or that magic seed is not going to yield something. Let me focus in on these realistic expectations and unit economics. But I think the vast majority of franchisors align with that.
I think I'm thinking of another unicorn brand just popped into my head. Part of the magic was they required, I think it was a $5,000 monthly spend for marketing, but it had to be done through the franchisor. And so the franchisor basically set up like a mini agency within the franchisor to go implement these buys. A lot of it at that point was direct mail. Direct mail might not work the same that it did then. But they did it on behalf of the franchisees because they knew that was going to be, like, you could tell the franchisees spend 2% or 1% or whatever. They don't do it because I don't think it's because they don't want to. It's because they don't know how to. And nobody's being prescriptive about go spend X and this is what your return should be. So I do think like another component of setting expectations for the franchisee is making sure that they've budgeted properly for marketing spend in their market for customer acquisition.
I think that's like task number one on helping them exceed their unit economics, right? And that's building out also the team to help with that, coach on that. I mean, it's all those things that create that unicorn moment. In any event, Nick, I think this was good.
Do we have a time limit on this one?
I mean, if guys, I appreciate everyone's on the live stream and everyone will be watching on, whatever. I don't know what these are, replays or whatnot, but
are you gonna make the big announcement that we're launching OnlyFans, the channel where you can get the naked truth of franchising?
Yeah, no, I didn't make that announcement yet.
No.
But so Nick, Brand Camp Miami, guys, it's coming up December 7 to 9. Perfectly, it'll be in Miami and Coconut Grove. I mean, Nick, what's your thoughts on it? Why people should attend?
Nick, what are your thoughts on Brand Camp?
Nick, what's your why now, Nick? What's the drumbeat you want them to know about Brand Camp Miami?
What I want you to know is, I'll frame this. I don't think, I think everybody who makes Major League Baseball is a unicorn. There are different levels of unicorn. And so there are many brands that can get to 100 units. And if we use that as a benchmark, and so there's different levels. If you're considered a unicorn brand, if you get over 100 units, that's one version, or there's brands that have 10,000 units. And so there are different levels of it. Next Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, if you have not registered for it, Charles and I are going to be talking with Ben Zobrist, who I would call a unicorn, who is not in the Hall of Fame currently, has won a World Series MVP, won World Series back-to-back years, had a tremendous career in Major League Baseball, all built from, he was not drafted by anyone. Like, he wasn't supposed to get there. And so his story is an example of a stalled out brand that found its mojo, got going, and became one of 83 people to win a World Series MVP. So next Wednesday, 10:30 a.m., we're doing a special Fran Camp webinar that's going to set the tone for how he is going to coach our brands through the consistency playbook in Miami. I'm pumped for this discussion because it's taking someone who has accomplished something that only 83 people in the history of the world have accomplished. And now we're going to put that framework back into how these brands can extract things from Zobrist's story and put it to work.
Good. Guys, be on the next live stream and check out Fran Camp. Nick, I think you put together a great format for it. And I'm really looking forward to the case studies of those two brands, because we're going to decide. Why are you laughing at me?
You're confused. There's going to be
guys,
brands.
Thanks for joining us.
What are you doing?